And we're getting a return, obviously, so we'll yell at each other a little bit.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen.
1-2, 1-2. Welcome to the Ilinden Sports Centre. Alex Molchanoff here alongside Thomas Miletich. Tommy, what are you expecting from this afternoon's action?
Listen, definitely a fiery game. I think there's going to be a few, maybe, controversial incidents. I think definitely both sides, as you sort of alluded to it, post-game.
Two teams that are looking to get themselves right up the table at the start of season 2020.
Let's hear it for your Rockdale Ilinden FC.
A very good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to the Ilinden Sports Centre for round 2 of the NPL New South Wales men's. Rockdale Ilinden hosting the Marconi Stallions. A fixture that has typically decided the destination of silverware over the past 3 seasons. 2024's grand final, the crescendo of the growing contempt between these two clubs. Not a traditional New South Wales rivalry, but one where the stakes have built season by season. The latest instalment offers another 90 minutes of theatre on this Sunday afternoon. First up, wins for both teams, so minimal changes from Paul D and Peter Sikenis. Let's get into the lineups. Rockdale making just one change from the team that defeated Western Sydney Wanderers a week ago. In comes Jerry Skitadis at the heart of midfield, which means a rejig in there, but Levi Kay is in for his second start in his new colours in goal. Hunter Elliott, Harry van der Sarg, Matthew Karamilevski and Giorgio Speranza across the back four. Skitadis into that midfield alongside Isaac Dunzo and behind Brendan Chalakian. Lachlan Constable expected to move out onto the flank with Ollie Wigan partnering him on the opposite. Harry McCarthy may well be expected to shoulder the attacking responsibilities in the absence of Moody Najjar, who drops to the bench. For Marconi, why change a winning team? Joel Wade starts in goal again for Peter Sikenis. Luca Bekura, the new signing at right back, alongside Ten Kwol, who scored 2 on debut from centre half alongside Anton Mlinaric. George Daniel is the left back. A midfield 4, as usual, for Sikenis and co. Franco Maya off the right, he scored here a year ago. Mate Busek off the left. And Quinton Blair, the new American signing, partnering Jack Armson in the heart of midfield behind Marco Jesic and Damien Sikenis. Bright sunny day, the juniors are about. Some Valentine's Day celebrations belatedly. And a very, very healthy crowd indeed across the Ilinden Sports Centre. The juniors getting involved. Fantastic to see on a bright and sunny day in Sydney South. Marconi in the second, or third actually, rendition of their new sky blue strip after winning the grand final in the green, white and red back in 2024. Championship campaign went all the way to the grand final against South Melbourne. Very unlucky not to pick up any silverware a year ago. Looking to right that in 2026. Brendan Chalakian and Marco Jesic meeting again in the centre of a football pitch to conduct the coin toss. Stephen Lucas is our referee today. Experienced A-League official in a past life. He's assisted today by Amor Hossein Hosnani and Thomas Alders. The fourth official is young Charlie Hollings. So final preparations. Already the floodlights are on here at the Ilinden Sports Centre. But perfect conditions for football. Just over 20 degrees as we drove into the venue here. A new look front line for Paul D. Brendan Chalakian leading the way in the captain's armband. Alongside a treble of Manly or ex-Manly charges. Ollie Wigan was a Manly Warringah junior. Harry McCarthy, one of their standout players of the last couple of seasons. Harry van der Sarg starting his second game in the heart of defence in red and black. So all is ready. Stephen Lucas just conducting the final checks and now getting us underway. Alex Molchanov taking you through this round 2 action today. Belated Valentine's Day celebrations here at Ilinden, but there's no love lost between these two teams. As I welcome Thomas Miletic to the broadcast. Tommy, what are you expecting this afternoon?
Molchi, it's going to be a wonderful game here at the Rockdale Ilinden Sports Centre. We've got a couple of ex-Marconi players in the Rockdale lining up with Harry van der Sarg in there at the heart of the fence. It's going to be no love lost, as you alluded to. It's going to be a really interesting fixture here.
Well, Harry, of course, coming back after that championship campaign we mentioned, it was a very successful one.
Yep.
Taking on his old team. Even as short a stint as that was, he made a fair impression out in the southwest of Sydney.
Definitely.
Here to call this game a year ago, and it started all guns blazing. There's a few new cast members across both teams in 2026, but we're expecting similar intensity. Two teams full of confidence. Van der Sag with a little in his touch. Has it taken off his toe by Sekenis? Jesic looking to ride the challenge. One of the free kick. Stephen Lucas waves away the first appeal of the afternoon. Armson getting his first taste of this fixture. For a touch, George Daniel's been part of all the major meetings between these two, including the grand final in 2024. It's the first win for Rockdale late last year against Marconi at Marconi Stadium, Tommy.
That was the famous result, wasn't it?
It's the one they've been waiting a very long time for.
Most definitely. As you can see there, Mulchi, there is no love lost between these teams. Getting straight into it, very physical.
How are you expecting that to manifest today? It's going to be a difficult job. I mean, the fact that Stephen Lucas has been appointed probably tells you.
Most definitely.
Football New South Wales are expecting a fiery affair. I'll get your answer in just a moment. George Daniel making his way into the area, blocked off by Van der Sag.
Yeah, it is, as you sort of alluded to, the appointment of Stephen Lucas, very experienced athlete referee as well in a past life. It's definitely going to set a predecessing tone for this one, definitely.
And there is the first blow of the whistle as Chalakian fells Blair. It's usually on the other end of those. Brendan Chalakian was the most foul player in the competition a year ago. It's been a pretty placid start. I know we're only a couple of minutes in. And Mudinajar on the bench today, which is the only change for either side, Tommy.
That is an interesting one. I think he did perform well against the Western Sydney Wanderers a week ago. But Jerry Skalathis, we see what he could do last year. He was very impactful off the bench. Hopefully he could do that in a starting role today.
It's as though Harry McCarthy's shouldering that responsibility up front, as we expected when the team sheets came in. Constable has flitted out to the left, and he's on the ball here. Away from Maya, and getting a shot away. It's taken a touch off one of the Rockdale players in there. And behind for a goal kick for Marconi. Bright start. Already see Giorgio Speranza getting involved down the left, as he loves to do.
He's the definition of attacking fullback, isn't he?
Has been for a very long time as well. 33 years of age. Veteran of a number of grand finals. Long time Marconi player, along with his brother Robbie as well. Chalakian. Little 1-2 with Constable. Commanding header from Lenaric. Has to go in a second time with Speranza. Playing aerial ping pong at the moment, these two. Lenaric with another commanding win. Armson able to knock the ball upfield. Karemalevsky only as far as Jesic. This is taking Busek a little bit wider than he would have liked, but chance for Marconi to really get at Rockdale here. Pulled it off the left, well read by Van der Sag. Marconi playing with possession in these early stages, which is something they're happy to do without at different times. Cora's ball forward for Sekenis asked a little too much of him.
Yeah.
Interesting that they are putting their foot on the ball a little bit, Tommy.
Absolutely.
And happy to build from the back.
Happy not to rush it, happy just to recycle, try and maybe find a gap in that Rockdale heart of defence.
Rockdale trying to do it of their own, but it's kamikaze stuff that's allowed Mlinaric in. Well, he claimed a goal last week that was eventually awarded to 10 Qual, but Rockdale almost playing themselves into a very messy situation indeed there, Tom.
Yeah, Mlinaric, I think he started the run before the goal kick was even conducted. But that's excellent from Marconi, good pressure.
Happy to play over the press this time, and Daniel clever enough to win the header. He's got the little frosted tips going this year, George Daniel, as well.
New season, new haircut.
That's it. Well, confidence gained in the last couple of years where he's been one of the outstanding fullbacks in the competition.
Most definitely.
And he's pinged for the free kick there. Does, of course, draw more attention from the officials occasionally as well.
Does, he does. Are you one of those, Mulchi, to look into that?
I just call what's in front of me, Tom. I'm not buying into that too much.
Very smart way.
Does draw you to players at different times, though. It's been a placid start to this one between two teams that you expect to be out gung-ho. It's been a very cagey beginning. Kremolevsky uncompromising over the top of Jesic, and he's a man that is familiar with officialdom. Sent off 4 times back in 2024, his last campaign with St George City. It's been the starting lineup for Paul D. Both games to start this season. The departures of Prosciutto and Sorge and a couple of others have meant that spot has opened up for him. Keen to leave a mark on Marko Jesic. I'm not sure that's exactly how his coach would have wanted him to do it, though.
No, definitely. What are you making so far of these last 180 minutes from Rockdale? Obviously a new side, new centre-back partnership, and obviously the big man, Alec Rusevski, as well.
I was going to ask you the same question, Tom.
The question that no one wants to answer.
Well, it's interesting, right? They've got players that can fill that position, definitely. But losing the top scorer in the league for the last 3 seasons is no mean feat for any club. Bankstown have not had the brightest start down in League One. Lost again yesterday.
Yep.
To Harcoa. I think it's put a smile on a few faces around the Ilinden Sports Centre. This ball lobbed in towards Sekenis. Didn't make the contact he was looking to, and Levi K able to field well.
Unlucky there for Sekenis, Damien. Just didn't get the contact. Those balls sometimes aren't the easiest when it comes over like that. That didn't have too much pace on it.
Chalaki is going to be key again today, but Blair followed him all the way, dispossessed him. Good challenge from Kremolevsky, better timed than his effort a minute ago. Flicks out to Maya. And a ball that's had K backpedaling, but always fairly comfortable that it was going to land on the roof of his net. Marconi on top in the early stages, though, here, Tommy.
Yep.
Short, a lot of football in Rockdale's half.
Short goal kick again from Rockdale, drawing the pressure from Marconi successfully once again.
Is this the space where they missed Rusevski most, having that outlet to get beyond intense presses like Marconi's? Good challenge from Armson. Again, Marconi catching Rockdale through their press. Kremolevsky intervening at the critical moment. Match up between he and Sekenis is already looking a tasty one. Brendan Jalakian barking orders from midfield, not too happy with how his defence is building up, and Kremolevsky offers a hand in apologies. He just hoists the ball down the other end.
Yeah, dare I say it, I think Marconi have actually taken Rockdale by surprise here with their press. They've been very successful. Interesting to see how Rockdale responds to this.
What would your advice be, Tom? Playing against a team that are pressing as high as Marconi are at the moment, how do you get out of that as a team that want to be dominant and play with the football as Rockdale do?
Well, absolutely. The obvious answer would be to have that target man up top, which, in losing the previous top goal scorer of the NPL, is a difficult task. It's no easy feat. But I think Kudarthis even pushing a little bit higher. They have to win that first contact.
Hasn't been made easy for them so far this afternoon. Daniel trying to get at Wigan. He's deployed as a wing-back at different times last season with Spirit FC, so it's perhaps enhanced that defensive side of his game from when he first made the jump up to this level. Elliott dragged off the ball, and the whistle was late, but it came in Rockdale's favour. Gave this game the big billing in the build-up. Discontent. It was friendly exchanges between both sets of coaches who come to know each other very, very well over the last few years. Mentioned that 2024 grand final. Peter Sikenis got the better of Paul D.
That was a thrilling match, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But there was just a change in the tide late last year. Galton will win at Marconi Stadium. Lone goal from Brendan Chalakian, enough to win the day for Rockdale there. Although it was during that period of the season where Marconi were playing with makeshift centre-backs, Tyron Burney and Brandon Vella starting in the position on that day. Without the services of Anton Mlinaric, he looks to add such a measure of steel
absolutely
to the heart of their defence.
The fans refer to him as the Warden for a reason, I'll tell you that much.
Speranza linking up with Chalakian. Rockdale with a chance to put some pressure on their opposition right in front of the committee. Nice piece of play from Danzo and a shot fired in by Chalakian. Fairly easily fielded by Wade, but that was better from Rockdale. A lot of their brightest work, Tommy, coming down the left in these early stages. Daniel with a nice touch away from Wigan. Busek. Daniel underlapping, and Wigan getting too much of the player for the referee's liking. Couple of calls for very punitive action against Ollie Wigan. I'm not sure you caught that through the effects mics, but the travelling Marconi fans that have gathered away to our left, happy enough with the decision. Marconi, this was one of their most fruitful routes to goal over the course of last season.
Yep. In a very dangerous position, might I add as well, Mulchy.
And their targets in there, Tommy?
Definitely Mlinaric, Tenqual as well. We can't forget how prolific he was for Sydney Olympic last year as well.
From these set-piece situations, got 2 goals last week on debut against RPL Leichhardt. Maya and Busek, the 2 wingers forming the 2-man committee, 2 in the wall. It's launched deep, well read by Karemalevsky. Armson lobs it up towards Sikenis. Well headed away by Van der Sarg, and now Rockdale could be away in transition. Wigan's got pace to burn, but he's got Daniel between he and the goal. And it's a good piece of defending from Marconi's left back to prevent the counter-attack from developing any further. Lovely touch from Wigan. Cut out by Mlinaric. It's agricultural but effective. Rockdale starting to get control of a little bit more ball in midfield, Tom.
They are. We saw it just a couple of minutes ago where on the left-hand side, Speranza combining nicely and getting their first shot off the game, and that's what they sort of need to do. They need to make those tight, quick combinations.
Easier said than done against this Marconi backline, but they are having more joy at the minute, Rockdale, than they did in the opening 10 minutes. Mlinaric seeing more and more of the ball. Armson trying to get at Ilinden in transition. And Sikenis giving away the free kick against Giorgio Speranza this time. He's been left on the deck. Sikenis pleading his case. Stern telling off there as well from Stephen Lucas. Marconi frustrated because they thought they were away.
Yep, most definitely. They had a really decent break on that right-hand side.
Had Jesic held his run by your eye, Tom? It was close.
It was close, it was close.
Elliott, another one of the former Manly United contingent.
Decent
Third
ball in.
season here, and well caught by Wade. Chalakian flitting out to the right. Constable trying to attack the ball from the opposite flank. Good piece of goalkeeping. Wade, who's been brought across, he's filling the very big feet, big boots of the departed James Hilton.
Most definitely. Congratulations to him. Definitely a well-deserved move off to Auckland. Can't forget on the other side as well, Nick Soares as well. Off to St. George.
It's very impressive in the 0-0 draw in the St. George derby yesterday evening. Rockdale playing through Danzo in increasing amounts, and it's starting to bring them a little bit more joy. Ollie Wigan thought he was fouled. Stephen Lucas says the foul has been committed the other way. George Daniel winning another one. Just clever enough to get his foot in front of the Rockdale winger.
You could just see 2 or 3 times now. Every single time that Rockdale have the ball, they're looking to get out. There's 2 or 3 Marconi players on there. They're snuffling out every single chance that Rockdale have.
It's not as aggressive a press, is it, Tom?
No.
Danzo sort of bereft of options in front of him. Lovely work from Busek. Skitadis brings down Daniel, who has got another Rockdale player into trouble. And this time, Jerry Skitadis becomes the first name in Stephen Lucas's notebook this afternoon. It's the inclusion today by Paul D in place of Najjar. Not exactly the impact I think Paul D was looking for. No, he is a combative presence in that midfield, isn't he, Tom?
Absolutely. Marconi have definitely won these first 15 minutes. They've definitely come out a bit hungry, a bit stronger. And they've earned their 3rd free kick of today.
I want a reward on the score sheet. And Busek trying to provide it from this set piece. Or blocked by Van der Sarg. Cycled through Pecora. Now Quoll. He's got pace to get away from his defender. The cross didn't match the run. Swept away by Harry McCarthy, who's all the way back there. It's their furthest forward striker lending a hand defensively. That tells you all you need to know about where Rockdale are sitting in this game at the moment.
Every single player's behind the ball for Rockdale. Not the sign that you want to see if you're Paul D and the coaching staff.
I don't think I can remember Marconi, even in the years where they've been competing for premiership the last couple, dominating possession, particularly away from home like this.
Yep.
Been a team that's been built on their strong defence. Had the best in the competition the last 2 years. And Sekenis again using an arm to try and block the space, and Stephen Lucas has had very little patience for that this afternoon.
You can see what Marconi do. Definitely a clear mismatch between Sekenis and Hunter size-wise.
It's going to be difficult for Damien, though, if he's not allowed to get that arm out and hold off players. He's such a strong target man. It's such a key part of his game, Tom. And a key part of the way Marconi build up their attacks as well.
Definitely a valued member of Marconi, especially in that front two with Marco.
Another long ball up towards him. Van der Sarg marshalling him well. Kay and Wigan. And then Chalakian through for McCarthy. Running at the Marconi defence for the first time and just caught between the 2 different options. You heard the groan from the stand on the far side. 3-on-2 if they played it right, and McCarthy just getting the ball stuck under his feet. A chance for Marconi to come in response. Busek. All times run from Armson, crossing position. Flashes the ball across the face of goal, and Meyer hadn't quite made up the ground to attack it. Good sequence of play for the neutral. Just missing the game's opening goal. That was better from Rockdale, though.
Most definitely, most definitely. I think for McCarthy, unfortunately, just had too many options there. Stuck in between 3 options.
He's being urged to shoot by plenty in the stand on the far side.
The Ilinden faithful.
But an iffy year in 2025, Harry McCarthy was in and out of the Manly United team with injury. Did end up making 21 appearances, but just the 2 goals, which is a long way below what he'd like his return to be.
Definitely big shoes to fill, though.
Najjar, as we mentioned, in reserve today, should he be needed. Rockdale got more defending to do. Busek, fantastic block from Elliott, who flew across, committed. It's a full-blooded drive from Busek, but a corner, the reward for Marconi's enterprise.
First corner of the game as well. Let's see if Marconi can profit. Ted Quall's coming forward. Definitely one of those 2 target men that they're looking for.
superb piece of defending from Elliott, who was sent off in this fixture a year ago after being brought off the bench. Little coming together between he and George Daniel. It's ended in him being dismissed just 10 minutes after coming on. Hoping to make a happier memory today. Stephen Lucas pulling apart a couple of plays. It didn't look as though there was too much outwardly obvious. Marko Jesic once again having firm words with the referee. Now we're ready. He and Speranza in lockstep in front of Kay. Elliott meeting Myers' initial cross. Sekenis recycles through Qual. He's in goal-scoring form. Sekenis twisting, turning. Can he get a shot away? Eventually Speranza gets a foot in. Marconi will have a corner from the near side this time.
Mulch, interesting strategy here from Rockdale as well, going man-to-man with the back two of Marconi. If they can get that ball or win it quickly, this might be a really good outlet to goal.
Well spotted. Seen a number of goals from set pieces early in this NPL New South Wales season. Busek delivers, free header, and there's the opening goal. Damien Sekenis, unmarked, and finds the back of the net for the first time this season. Just as they did here a year ago, the Stallions lead early against Rockdale Ilinden.
Wonderful goal, unmarked, and that's what happens when you push too many men forward for Rockdale. Just left a free man there at the back. Sekenis, he will take that any day of the week.
Beautiful delivery from Busek as well, with plenty of top and spin. Well directed. And that's the pros and cons of that zonal system of Rockdale's. If there's a well-directed cross, it can often be difficult to get close to the attackers who know where it's going. That was the case there.
It has been coming though for Marconi. Definitely has. Let's see if Rockdale can respond.
Got to provide a different level of intensity, don't they? And second best in the 50-50s to this point. A great start again. Some were a little concerned by Marconi's fixture, having Apia and great rivals Rockdale back-to-back weekends, but when it's working as swimmingly as with this, it could really give a very early boost to their 2026 campaign. Trying to respond now, Rockdale down the left, and a little bit of a tangle between Constable and Luca Pecora. Ilinden with their foot on the ball now. Van der Sarg lining up from a long way out. Owen Wade at the second opportunity reels it in. He can strike a football, Harry Van der Sarg.
Most definitely
gave the Stallions keeper a bit to think about.
Most definitely can. Against his old club, he would have loved that one.
One of the few with license from that sort of range, I'd suggest.
35 metres, 40 metres, Mulchi.
Seen him hit them from that distance. Got a beautiful right foot.
When you got a pedigree such as Harry Van der Sarg does, obviously playing for Adelaide as well, Adelaide United, you have every right to.
That's right. We first saw him in this competition with Sydney FC's academy set up. Very talented group of players that have gone on to big and bright things. There's another one chasing silverware at this level again. Trying to fire his team back into this game. Koromolevsky with a big switch towards Wigan. And Daniel's got the better of him again. Got to be careful his frustration doesn't get to him here, Ollie Wigan. Bit of an isolated figure at different times during this first half.
Yeah, most definitely.
Is that just a substance of, or a result, I should say, of Rockdale not having as much of the ball in their attacking half as they'd like?
I think so. I think Marconi have definitely asked more questions of Rockdale than I think Rockdale planned for in Paul D. And I think they're a bit reactive. They're taking a very reactive approach.
It's not like Rockdale.
No, especially at home.
Skatardis into a tussle with Franco Maya. Two fiery characters. The throw-in goes the Stallions' way. Just under 20 minutes to go till the break. It's been a best part of a half hour dominated by the visitors again. This man back in the heart of their defence, Anton Lenaric. Daniel. Needs a change of passes with Busek. Provided the assist from the corner for Damien Sekenis' opening goal. Alex Molchanov and Thomas Miletic here with you. Final game of round 2 in the NPL New South Wales men's competition.
What a way to end off the round.
Busek with a gorgeous turn past Elliott, who recovered well. The offside flag was up whilst all that was going on. It's interesting, this game was initially scheduled to be played at Marconi Stadium on the Saturday night. Marconi have asked for their first 2 away games against Apia and Rockdale to be reversed as they relayed the turf out at Marconi Stadium. Rockdale were happy to acquiesce to that and have the early season home fixture. Means that Marconi, after playing that round 1 game at home against Apia, will now be on the road for the next 2 months. They're not back at Marconi Stadium until round 10 when they welcome a visit from SD Raiders. The more points they can build up in this early season, they're going to likely come home in a hurry.
It's called the Palace for a reason, isn't it? They love being at home.
Defensive touch from Wigan, but well cut out by Mlinaric, and now Myers away. Couple in support. He's going to try and catch Levi Kay off his line. Actually did that at Cromer Park a year ago when Kay was in goal for Manly United to seal a victory for Marconi. No such luck this time. Was a little later in the game as well. The result all but sewn up. Why not try your luck when you've got the wizardry in that left foot he does? Oh, and an ill-advised slip from Karemalevsky. Chance for Armson, buries it. Marconi's second, all of Rockdale's doing, but beautifully taken by Jack Armson, who wasn't about to think twice when presented the opportunity. Buries the ball in the corner. It's a dream start for the Stallions at the Ilinden Sports Centre.
They shot themselves in the foot there, Rockdale, didn't they? Just very, very questionable decision there from the centre-back. And unfortunately, that is a 2-0 lead going into half-time. That is not what Paul D and the coaching staff want for Rockdale.
Some unhappy memories being revived here for the Rockdale supporters. Team who got the better of them in the grand final in 2024. They also inflicted their heaviest defeats in more than 15 years. A 9-0 victory at Marconi Stadium. Scoreline was already double this by that equivalent time in that match, but heavy defeats for Rockdale against Marconi. There's a mental side to this as well, and although the cast are new and numerous, Marconi just have a confidence against this opposition. Their record against Rockdale over the last 3 years is only been affected with that little blip towards the end of last year. Otherwise, they've been faultless.
Some stains take a long while to wash out, and unfortunately, this is one that, dare I say it, if Rockdale don't start winning these second balls, don't show a bit more hunger and intent, this Marconi could look to make this another famous victory.
It's another new face on the score sheet for Peter Sekenis. Jack Armson following his old teammate Teng Qual over to the club. Watched him get 2 on debut last weekend. He's got his opening goal in the sky blue of Marconi.
After a tough year that he had as well at Sydney Olympic, I think just a wonderful start that he needed.
Back in the position that he loves in the heart of midfield as well.
Absolutely. He anticipated that error and decided to press really, really well and got his just desserts.
This has been part of it as well. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Tommy, about Rockdale looking to play out and wanting to play assertive football, but Marconi have pressed the life out of them and have forced those errors too many times
Credit
really
to
for
them.
it to be effective.
Credit to them. Is this maybe a sign for Rockdale to change their ways? I know some coaches and some players are adamant on playing their style of football in their way. Credit to them, but they have to be prepared to pay the price if it doesn't work.
How quickly do they look to their bench as we approach half-time? Still 10 minutes to go. Back in their own half in the shadows of half-time with Sekenis and Armson already on the score sheet for the visitors.
Mudinajar, obviously a shock exclusion from the squad. Is this something where Paul D looks to at half-time, and is he the outlet that Rockdale need? We'll wait and see.
It's effective enough off the bench last year. Scored 9 goals, second only to Rasevski amongst the Rockdale goal scorers. Was used 7 times off the bench though.
He's definitely one of those players that the Rockdale Ilinden faith will be looking for to step up in terms of goal scoring numbers.
Flick one from Armson after Jesic's throw. Qual knocks it down to Chilakian's advantage. Rockdale look to be away. Skatadis. Now Dunzo made his cool head, but even his passing radar is right, and that is a really worrying sign. Rarely, if ever, see Isaac Dunzo turn the ball over like that.
Normally so calm. It is a concerning look when they are struggling to make those passes.
Sekenis is happy to hold on to Giorgio Speranza for a little longer than was necessary, but Stephen Lucas has been around long enough just to wave everybody's protests away. Goal kick was to Rockdale's advantage in any case.
And just look at this press here from Marconi Mulchi. Straight away.
Well called, Tom. Monarch stepping up. He's not allowed Chalaki in any room. And again, he's got his team going forward. Pekora for Sekenis, who's chopped down by Karamilevsky. He's already been chatted to once or twice by Stephen Lucas, and now joins Jerry Skatadis as the second name in the referee's notebook from a Rockdale persuasion this afternoon.
He's definitely returning the favour on Sekenis for his earlier effort.
He's got bright parts of his game, Matthew Karamilevsky, but it's been a first half to forget for him to this point. Be hoping that Marconi don't rub further salt in the wounds here by adding a third. Opening goal of the game came from a set piece. Delivery of Mate Busek, this one coming from the right, so the in-swinging left foot of Franco Maya. Two in the wall again for Levi K. Tanquol's coming over to lend his opinion to the Uruguayan-born Franco Maya. To deliver front post, Van der Sarg well positioned. Pekora. Sekenis has drifted out to the left. Gorgeous bit of skill to see his way past Skatadis, and why not go for goal after that? Oh! Dreadful error from Levi K. And Sekenis has a second. It goes from bad to worse for Rockdale.
Can't win the raffle if you don't buy a ticket. Cannot win the raffle. What a wonderful piece of skill, and why not, as you alluded to, Mulchi? Have a go, bought a ticket, and he got his just search. A half to forget, definitely, for Rockdale.
And Damius Sekenis, who has scored some sweet ones over the course of his career, probably won't be writing home about that, but Marconi won't care. They're 3 to the good before the break. And the method is secondary. They've been dominant in terms of territory, possession, intensity, and 2 dreadful defensive errors have put Rockdale in a big, big hole now.
First half brace for Damien Sekenis. And again, here he is.
Quinton Blair this time winning it back in midfield, and Van der Sarg, who's looking to try and hold it all together. He needs a hand or two from some teammates back there. Danzo going route one for Chalakian, and Mlinaric with this 3-goal advantage. He's happy to go the simplest of options defensively, shall we say. He's been outstanding, quite to the contrary. Rockdale all over the shop.
You could just see the captain's frustration there as well. And as we alluded to, Mulchi, if they're not careful, if they don't start with some of these key metrics, this could be a game to forget for Rockdale.
Just lulled back into this old pattern against their new rivals. Feeling of history repeating itself for some of the spectators on the far sides. Who have headed into the cultural club for a stiff drink, no doubt. Sekenis has had a bright start in terms of goal scoring. Has been pinged for a couple of free kicks like that as well.
He's been involved in everything.
He has. That's the way Marconi will want it, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Levi Kay, who was one of the best goalkeepers of the last campaign, a spectacular shot stopper. I don't think I've ever seen him have a moment like that.
Quite unfortunate. Wonderful keeper, as you alluded to, Mulchi. Just sums up Rockdale's first half performance.
By contrast, Joel Waits has barely had a save to make in Marconi's goal. Daniel, lovely touch from Sekenis. They really are flowing nicely. Busek, Danzo there to stamp out the attack this time. Mlinaric with front possession ahead of McCarthy, who was happy to nudge him off the ball, and then Mlinaric is too strong, goes sliding in on Elliott, won the ball fair and square. Busek into the area, and Jesic for 4! Just over the crossbar. But if you need a summation of the first half, where it has gone right for Marconi and where it has gone wrong for Rockdale, you got it all there in the last 10 seconds.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Motion. Just more hunger, more determination. Winning both duels as well, Mlinaric.
Qual this time. Gorgeous challenge. Say the same of Chalakian, who's up for the fight. There's a little bit of afters there between he and Daniel. Referee's happy for play to continue. Busek as Chalakian goes in with the studs raised, and so the card is straight out of the pocket. Stephen Lucas knew there was potential for this afternoon. Was trying to get over and control the situation, but the players, ill-advisingly, starting to take justice into their own hands. Franco Maya, after it all looked to be cooling down, went in to fire it up again.
Both linesmen as well on the field. Things you don't want to see.
Well, they've got all angles covered. Marconi with this 3-goal advantage. The last thing they want to do is get themselves into trouble. And Chalakian, who's trying to get his team going, and has gone in with a very hard challenge. Perhaps that wasn't quite the way to do it.
Yeah, there's a difference between sending a message to your team and rally the troops, but yourself to go in there with a dangerous challenge like that will await the referee's call.
I'm hoping the yellow card was straight out of Stephen Lucas's pocket, so I think Chalakian's going to be okay. It's all about what happened in the aftermath now.
Yeah, as you alluded to, you did see Franco Mayo run across as well, just as things were starting to come down.
Marconi bench have a firm view about what action they think should be taken. Okay, so the yellow card is there for Chalakian, third Rockdale player booked today. That was for the initial challenge, so going to be further justice meted out by Judge Lucas. Sekenis is the first Marconi player in the book, and Peter Sekenis is going to voice his displeasure, and I think Franco Maya, for coming in so late, it's going to be booked as well.
I think that's the right call there, Mulchy. I think if you're not involved and you want to run across, always be prepared to run that risk.
I tend to agree, but this is the frustration for teams that are penalised in this situation, is that they feel the initial challenge was worthy of something more than a yellow, and then they have two players put into the book for coming, as they see it, to defend their player. Understand the bench's frustration.
From Rockdale's standpoint, you're hoping that this will spark up a bit of energy, a bit of life just before they head back into the sheds.
So 5 yellow cards. We should have expected nothing less between these two. And we've had, this is the 6th of the last 8 meetings where there have been 5 or more yellow cards handed out, including that grand final back in 2024. Marconi have the free kick after all of that. Means we're going to see a little bit of added time tacked on to the end of the 45 allotted minutes of this first half. I think the key for Marconi there is that no one has come away injured, and they have kept 11 on the field with this 3-goal advantage and a chance to add a 4th. Jesic with the long throw. Doesn't as much distance as some. Still might be fruitful though as Blair meets it. Good technique, kept the ball down, just skewing a little off the outside of his boot.
And just look at this press here again, Mulch. I know I keep alluding to it, but just see, look at this wonderful box here. And they force a turnover again.
Even off Danzo. You're right to point it out, Tom, because it's been the defining pattern of play in this opening half. Poor turnover from Wigan, who was trying to get tricky with the back heel. Played it straight to Busek. And Jesic is happy to play the ball into a corner to the advantage of Giorgio Speranza. Right you are. Ball up rather than out. Myers' touch not quite good enough to bring it out of the sky. Speranza, Chalakian still fighting for every ball as you'd expect. Paul just better position that time around. Pakura lifting with the rest of his teammates. Kay under more pressure, this time from Sikenis. Got there in the nick of time. Constable trying to dance through blue shirts, but they're just everywhere at the moment. Eventually McCarthy able to come clear with the ball. Constable for Wigan. Elliott. As far forward as we've seen him today, and just hesitating over his decision. I think there's going to be some changes here at halftime from Paul D. He's starting to yell out in frustration, which is not something you often see from the Rockdale head coach.
Normally a very calm and composed figure.
Another chance for Elliott here. Wigan trying to protect the space, and nothing is going right for Ollie Wigan at the moment. Feels hard done by in terms of the officiating. He's turned the ball over a couple of times as well.
Mulch, is this more of a case of Marconi just showing so much intent, so much energy to win the ball, or is this a case of Rockdale just being flat out of the races?
But the answer is probably a bit of both, isn't it? 3-0 scoreline before the break. I don't think anyone would have anticipated that.
Especially after the week 1 results as well.
That's right. Rockdale had their moments of worry against the Wanderers last weekend, but looked in firm control of the game in its majority. Marconi's was probably backwards. They did have a really tricky last half hour. Wigan again bundled off the ball by Armson. Still there is no whistle in his favour. I think on that occasion he probably had the right to feel a little hard done by.
Definitely feels like he's not getting any rub of the green.
Daniel's been outstanding.
He has.
His direct opponent. Tick into stoppage time in this first half. Plenty of questions for the Rockdale coaching staff to answer. The most significant is how they're going to get through this Marconi press, because they've not had an answer all day.
Play on here.
Jesic. Thought he was caught by Karamilevsky. He's now striding his way out of trouble.
Rockdale have turned the ball every time over from a short goal kick. Very concerning from a Rockdale standpoint.
Can Najjar come on in this second half and offer a bit of a target? I know it's not his main strength as a striker, but he's got a little bit more physicality to his game than McCarthy, for example.
Absolutely, and I can't understand why you're saying that. If you looked at the Rockdale bench, he's one of those figureheads that you have to look to.
Call came from Anton Mlinaric to keep the ball. That's what Marconi did. That's what they've done for the majority of the first half. A one-sided affair where we did not expect it. Tom Militic, what have you made of all that? Marconi, 3 goals to the good.
Absolutely, you can see, for me, you can just sum it up in the simple sentence of Marconi have wanted it more. They've won every single second ball. There is always 3 Marconi men on any Rockdale player that has the ball, and their intent to stamp authority on these first 45 minutes, I think it's completely taken Rockdale by surprise.
Well, more to come. 15 minutes break for both and for us up here. We'll be back with you for the second half, but it's Marconi 3 goals to the goods. Damien Sekenis with a brace, his first a clear header from a set piece. His second, a moment that Levi Kay would rather forget as the ball dribbled past him from an effort stemming from a long way out. And Jack Armson, a well-taken goal from a Rockdale turnover. And so, at the break, it's Rockdale Ilinden 0, the Marconi Stallions 3 here in round 2 of the NPL New South Wales men's. Welcome back to the Ilinden Sports Centre. The second half between Rockdale and Marconi about to get underway, and it's the visiting Stallions who have a 3-goal advantage. A brace to Damien Sekenis and a third in between those from Jack Armson, his first goal for his new club. Alex Molchanov, Tom Miletic here for you on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. And there has been a change at the break, Tommy. Mili Najjar is on as they chase this game. Yeah.
As we alluded to, I believe it's Jerry Skoutatis off, Mili Najjar up top. Is he going to be that focal point for Rockdale? They sure hope so. They're going to need something. They're going to need something big to overcome this deficit so far.
Caution has been thrown to the wind. Fourth official just confirming your rights. Jerry Skoutatis has been taken off after receiving the booking in the first half. That was the lone change that Paul D had made to his starting 11 from the side that beat the Wanderers by 2-0 a week ago. Stephen Lucas giving the first free kick of the second half to Hunter Elliott. Brought down by Mate Busek on the far side. But it was Marconi's press which really stunted Rockdale's process in the first half. This one a win in midfield, looking to play the ball in for Damien Sekenis, and Rockdale convinced that he was offside. Linesman disagrees. Be a throw in for Marconi just over halfway. So we're expecting a more direct style of play now that Mili Najjar is on the field, Tommy?
You'd like to think so. Yeah, as you saw alluded to in that first half, he's got that physical presence that a lot of the Rockdale forwards don't have. So let's see if they can use that. Got a chance now.
Nice touch from McCarthy. Najjar has been brought down, but he was offside. Good step or two. The wrong side of Tanquol, but already giving Marconi a few extra questions to answer at the start of this second half.
He's quite quick as well, so definitely you can play behind. We'll see if you can find those channels to run into. We'll definitely have a tough task, though, against Qual and Mlinaric, two formidable centre-backs. As a partnership, they make a formidable pair.
Had a terrific record after taking the leads in season 2025, Marconi. One of the best front runners in the competition. It was based a lot on their defence. Conceded just the 29 goals last season, less than a goal a game, a remarkable record. Helped with James Hilton in goal, now departed, but Joel Wades has had the benefit of only really having one meaningful save to make over the course of that first half. This has been helped. Finding the back of the net was the issue for Marconi last season. The lowest scorers inside the top 5, finishing in third place behind Spirit and Apia. Nice touch from Jesic, and Daniels forward from left back again. Delivery left a bit to be desired. Seeing more of the same to start this second half.
Yeah, not quite the delivery that Daniel wanted there. But you can see Marconi what they're trying to do, coming out with that same intent that they came in the first half. Let's see if Rockdale can have these answers.
Wanaric over the top of Najjar this time, and then is on the end of one of the challenges he usually hands out from Harry van der Sar. Very well timed. He's just full of confidence, the former Brisbane Raw man, isn't he? He's been fully committed and has barely put a foot wrong out there today.
All the kids on the southern hill,
I missed him a year ago, Tommy. He only played 10 games in the league last season. That knee injury was back for the championship, and suddenly their form improved.
What a difference he made when he came back.
"14 games at A-League level in his career for Brisbane Raw, early on, still only 23 years of age. Would you be surprised if an A-League club comes in for him before the start of their next season?
No, definitely not. As you can see with the Australian Championship, what it did so well is that it shined the light, likewise with the men's NPL New South Wales competition, shined the light onto these players to give them that platform. And Mlinaric is one of those players that definitely the sky's the limit.
spent some time down in the NPL Victoria. Was actually there before signing with Marconi. Had a good season with the Oatley Cannons. Peter Sekenis has spoken of his willing to take risks with players. I think Norwich is one that quite fits that bill. Has developed even further under Sekenis' guidance. Nice little link up between Chalakian and McCarthy. This is what D wants to see more of. Look at Pecora with a gamesman-like foul. And as such, sees yellow.
Important foul there from a Marconi standpoint. Rockdale, you don't want Rockdale trying to build that momentum from obviously a Marconi coaching standpoint. But this is better from Rockdale, trying to build a little bit of passage of play into this second half.
McCarthy starting in that deeper position. He said he's not hassled with as much attention from the opposition centre-backs generally. This place pass from Speranza of all people. And then turned over again by Blair. Bit of a let-off there for Rockdale. Karemalevsky. Norwich sweeping up. Speranza goes quickly to McCarthy. Gets it back off him. See, Ali Orglar's got the grey shots on in... grey shirt on in shot as the ball comes to this near side. Good to see him back supporting his old club. Wiggins in behind. And Rockdale with the Jars got one back. Flag stays down. And their best period of the match leads to their opening goal. The substitution brings results for Pool D and Ilinden.
Game on, Mochi. Game on. Just what Rockdale wanted, just what Rockdale needed. And the man off the bench pays dividends. Paul D is rewarded with his substitution. Mudinajar gets one back for the home side. 3-1.
Suddenly just playing with a measure of confidence that wasn't there for them in the opening 45 minutes. It was a gorgeous sequence of play. Nice bit of build-up. It was a bit scrappy towards the end, but the method to get there was nice. Marconi re-established that lead, though. Karemalevsky dispatched of Damien Sekenis, who is down holding his face. Play continues for now, and Danto quite sportingly puts the ball out of play so that Sekenis can receive treatment. They've been in quite a battle, those two. Karemalevsky has already been booked. Nothing doing there, said Stephen Lucas.
Yeah, from minute one, those two are getting into it. Sekenis looks to be okay, which is a positive side.
It's one who's oft in the wars, Tommy. Throws himself about. Dishes out as much as he takes, it must be said as well, but he's making the point quite clearly to the assistant and the fourth official on the near side that feels it was a move there towards him from Karemalevsky.
Marconi do the right thing and give the ball back.
Well, that goal has just added a little bit of intrigue here.
Definitely has.
Game that looked as though it was headed in one direction only. Suddenly just been reefed back. Not quite on a knife's edge yet, but getting closer. Well taken finish from Najjar as well, wasn't it, Tommy?
Absolutely. Make no mistake, these next 15 minutes for Rockdale and Marconi are very, very important. Rockdale obviously looking to build on that momentum. Marconi just looking to establish that control from what they had in the first half.
Touch from Blair. It's the signing from the American college soccer system.
Sekenis on side.
It was a good ball from Pecora as well. He's tried to lay it on for Busek. Sliding challenge from Elliott. Didn't have the brightest first half, but he's kept his mind on the task at hand. Beautifully timed challenge to make sure Busek couldn't get the shot away.
Karemalevsky and Javier Desal. Just a bit careful. Sekenis has got in twice behind there in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Although they're looking to push on for the second Rockdale, they've just got to be aware, because if Marconi get into their strides again, this could be a tough pill to swallow for the Rockdale defence.
He's clever with his movement off the ball, Sekenis. Ducking in behind the defence on both those occasions. Another throw for George Daniel right in front of the committee. It's taken up by Armson. Some ironic cheers as the ball flits away to the near side. Goal kick, but Rockdale again, second to those balls, which allowed the opportunity to develop.
Yeah, that's one of those stats that they definitely need to work on. Rockdale need to start winning more of those second balls and push themselves up the field.
Statos call them jewels. Is that the number we're looking at?
I think so.
We get on Sofa Score after the game. I think they'll be heavily in Marconi's favour. Again, Rockdale looking to play out through a tight area. Turned over by Constable. Armson for Maya. Gorgeous dummy. Pecora could be on for his first Marconi goal here. Or is it Yesic? Thumping finish. Another turnover. Another Marconi goal. They have been ruthless in their efficiency in front of goal. And the skipper's on the score sheet for the first time in 2026.
Rockdale again, architects of their own downfall. Again, trying to play out from the back, under-delivered pass, and Pecora wonderfully delivered it to Yesic. And Marco Yesic does what Marco Yesic does, doesn't he, Bolshi?
Let's give a hand to Pecora as well. The youngster getting forward from right back. He's got a massive smile on his face. Delivered the ball beautifully to his captain. And once it was there was only one outcome, wasn't there? No chance Levi K this time around. And the 3-goal buffer is restored. Emphatically so. Marconi had that little at the start of the second half where their intensity dropped. It has shocked them back to life. And from their perspective, normal service has resumed. Another takeaway. Pecora again. He's having a fine second half. Links up with Yesic. And he find a second in a matter of moments this time, Kay Fields. Nice and low to make sure he got there. Blair cuts out the quick bit of distribution.
Marconi teammates just a little bit frustrated with him there. They had 3 or 4 men with him. But Marco Yesic, when he's been around for that long, skipper off the side, I think he has every right to take a shot there.
He's earned that right, hasn't he, Tom?
Most definitely has.
36 years young, turning 37 this year, Marco Yesic. Still at it. Spent time in the A-League very early in his career with the Newcastle Jets, but he's a Fairfield boy. It's part of the club's promotion back to this division all the way back in 2017. Peter Sekenis took over the club in the middle of that year. Plus 250 games at the helm last season. And Yesic has been with him most of the way. Paul not able to keep the ball in play as he searched for his bearded maestro of a striker. Nice link up. McCarthy and Chalakian again. That's been fruitful second half. Najjar might have had his second. Sweeps the ball wide of Wade's left-hand post. And you feel if Rockdale were going to get a point from the afternoon, that needed to find the back of the net.
Most definitely. Most definitely. 4-2, confidence high, back on. Just unfortunate for Najjar.
One of the positives, though, Tommy, Harry McCarthy and Brendan Chalakian striking up a bit of an understanding.
Starting to link up.
Since McCarthy's moved to the left.
Is that something that Paul D pays attention to in the weeks coming? Wonderful work there by Yesic.
Took the ball away from Constable. Fed it to Busak. Might open up a shooting opportunity. Well closed down by Constable. It's gone direct. McCarthy's got the pace to chase this ball down. He likes having defenders in this sort of area. Side for Chalakian. Just pondered over it for a moment too long. And Pecora was back to squeeze and nick the ball off his toe. Poor clearance from Lenarich.
Unlike him.
Wigan squares it up. McCarthy with a big chance. Didn't catch it cleanly whatsoever. A couple of big chances for Rockdale. in a matter of moments to open this game back up. They haven't been able to seize either.
As you alluded to, Mulchi, from a Rockdale point, and definitely a Paul D coaching standpoint, you needed one of those to go in.
Belief of the players is as important as anything. And how much energy would that have given them? It could have a very different feel this second half. It's been much more open than the first. It's resulted in opportunities for both teams. Busek darting off the left, not able to find Jesic. Well, this is what Paul D was hoping for in the first half. His team to move the ball quickly and get through Marconi's press. They're having more joy at it in the second half. Danzo. Speranza. Punched by Wade. No one in red and black there to keep the attack alive. It'll be a throw-in for the hosts. But what has changed, Tom? What has enabled them to get this roll on that they've had in the second half at different points?
Definitely Mudi Najjar. You can see even off the ball, he's doing a lot more work, trying to establish a bit of pressure on the back two of Marconi. And I think Isaac Danzo as well has just started to settle into this game. Starting to just put a foot onto the ball, a bit more calmer, and that's definitely stemming and having a good effect onto the Rockdale front three.
Wigan with a couple around him in the corner. The assistant's flag is up, and Rockdale have got a free kick. It's being hounded in there by Daniel and Busek. And the assistant on that far side, Thomas Alders, saw a trip. I think Marconi's defensive line has been all too happy with how the last 10 minutes or so have unfolded.
Just got to be careful now. Crucial part of the game. Rockdale need a goal. Let's see how Marconi can respond.
It's free-flowing a game of football as we've seen between these two for the last 2 years. That one's in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Elliott lobs it back in. Danzo making a nuisance of himself. Speranza stayed up. Can he find a cross? Lays it back for Ollie Wigan. Former Spirit startlet. Twisting and turning and then knocking the ball out of play. So he tried to find Van der Sarg. There's been a couple too many moments like that over the course of the afternoon from a Rockdale perspective.
There has, unfortunately. There has.
It's led to a rather subdued atmosphere around the ground that was really heaving with noise and excitement before the game. Belated Valentine's Day celebrations and promotion put on here by the club. A fantastic initiative. Done a good job at that over the last couple of years, Rockdale. Trying to drive a lot of the Macedonian community back out here, as well as the local South Sydney community as well.
Were you one of those lucky people, Mulchi, to get a rose when you arrived in?
I was giving one to someone else earlier
lovely.
today, Tom. Well, yesterday,
Lovely.
24 hours ago.
Likewise.
So we could come to the football today. Really, where more romantic place to spend your Valentine's Sunday than the Ilinden Sports Centre?
Got some food, got some lovely entertainment.
One of the best kebabis going around in the competition. Kebabi, as they call it here, of course.
Yes.
This result holds. Marconi will fling themselves to the very early season table. More defending to do first, though. Mlinaric up rather than out. Wigan not able to get there. Jesic volleys away.
Rockdale just seeing a little bit more of the ball here, having a better patch of possession here.
And Wigan might be able to get the better of George Daniel. No, he can't. He has been faultless. The Stallions left back today.
Is it the frosted tips, Mulch?
I think we spotted in the first half. I'll tell you what, he's one who flies under the radar, George Daniel Tommy. Plays above his size. Definitely. He's so dogged and determined. Gets forward more than he's probably given credit for.
Played at the Mariners Academy as well when he was younger.
Only missed one game last year. That was through suspension for Peter Sikenis. One of the first names on his team sheet, week on week. Go as far to say it's probably Jesic first and then Daniel second. Might have had Jimmy Hilton in there last year as well. Speranza trying to kill that one in behind. Easily fielded by Hilton's replacement, Joel Wade, who's another Central Coast Mariners Academy graduate. He's had a very tidy day in net. Armson. Cut out by Elliott. Danzo. For Koremolevsky. Enterprising ball for McCarthy, who tried something clever. He was only a yard or so away from finding the jar. Marconi have looked a little sloppier in the last 5 minutes with the ball in their possession.
Yeah, you could just see 3 or 4 turnovers, cheap turnovers there for Marconi. Something that Sikenis wouldn't want to see.
It's difficult as a team with a lead like this in a game you're expecting to be a real tight arm wrestle to keep your focus sometimes.
Don't want to let those standards drop. We see Mayo on the ball now.
He's got a knack for killing games off when he's given the opportunity. Busek, underlapping run of Daniel, well thwarted by Elliott, who's actually stayed down in back play. Armson has won a couple of balls up the pitch like that, not able to this time. Lenaric snuffs out the ball to Chalakian. Busek. And Sikenis not able to time his run. He's dragged down, but the flag's up. Sikenis sniffing around for his hat-trick. Just wonder if he's going to be allowed to keep searching for too much longer. Stallions haven't made a substitution so far this afternoon.
And they've got some interesting options on the bench as well. Sunday Yona, one of their new signings. Quick, exciting winger. Let's see if he makes his name on the fixture today.
Another new club for him. Hasn't spent consecutive years at the same club since he was a teenager. Sunday.
Oh.
He turned 24 this year.
Fun facts with Bolchi on a Sunday.
Well, he's been around a couple of the A-League academies as well.
Exciting player though, isn't he?
Very much so.
Very direct.
Showed his wares at different stages across St George FC. I think Fabian Michelli would have liked a little bit more of him. Injuries played their part. A stunted season, 2 goals in 9 games. Adam Bulgaria back at this level as well after a stint with Perth Glory. Sydney United junior. Come across to the other side of the divide, which you know about all too well, being from out that way, Tom.
Battle of Bosley Park.
Looking forward to a couple of them again this season.
Always one of those fixtures that you mark on the calendar, isn't it?
Meyer getting the shot away as he controlled with his shoulder. Easily fielded by Levi K. Pecora bringing down McCarthy. There's a thought around that with the losses that Marconi had in terms of Tas Murtakudis and their midfield partnership basically with Van der Sarg and Bayless, Liam Yulee no longer at the club, that they might have a bit of a drop-off this year, Tom. They've showed in these first 2 games against 2 fellow contenders for silverware that they are still right amongst the best.
Absolutely. Sometimes when you haven't got a star-studded squad like they have, these players tend to step up. And when you've got a man in charge that doesn't let standards drop, such as Peter Sikenis, it's the DNA of the club that's quickly passed on to the players.
There's preparation in that as well, of course. Dom Costanzo is back in Adelaide now.
Yep.
After that short stint at Apia, but Mate Busek has come in and looked at a natural replacement for him on the left-hand side of their attack. Tenquol, Luca Pecora coming into the back line. Still got Tyron Burney to come back as well. He's had an interrupted pre-season, which is the reason he hasn't started either of their first 2 games. One of the best fullbacks in the competition last year, still to come back in as Daniel tries to bully his way through a couple of Rockdale defenders.
Who have a very tough task because Pecora's been faultless. He's been faultless today, obviously getting an assist as well.
Might have nailed his spot down.
Luckily, we're not part of the coaching staff, Moshi.
Can be hard to win your way back into a Peter Sekenes starting 11.
Definitely.
Sekenes on the ball. Big chance, little rollover. And Karemalevsky eventually steers it away. He and Sekenes having a wrestling match as the ball was cleared. Mlinaric perfectly timed on Wigan, who hits the deck again. And Mlinaric lines up. He's got the taste for goal at the moment, doesn't he? Now we are going to see a substitution. And this is a nice return. He came back to football for the first time in a year. Last weekend, more than a year, Mathieu Cordier. And a healthy applause as he returns to the pitch here at the Ilinden Sports Centre for the first time since back in 2024. A horrific leg injury. It's been a long path to rehabilitation. He'll be delighted to be back here in front of his home supporters, like a new signing for Paul D this season.
Absolutely.
Still in his mid-20s, got plenty to offer. Highly touted junior. It's part of the NTC program here in New South Wales before moving on to the Wanderers Academy. Sliding challenge from Qual, who argues he got the ball. He probably did, but he caught plenty of Brendan Chalakian as well, and so a yellow card shown to the Stallions' new signing.
Definitely not short of yellow cards. His fixture is a mulchi, as you alluded to in the first half. Tenquol picking up another one for Marconi.
It's their 4th of the afternoon. 2 have gone Rockdale's way. Second half that's had a little bit of sting taken out of it after a second goal. Excuse me, first goal, I should say, of the season to Marko Jesic. Re-established Marconi's 3-goal leads. Now, Stephen Lucas has gone over here to have a bit of a chat with Thomas Alders. I don't know if he's seen something that's happened off the ball or a mistaken identity.
Just noticed that now as well. He's calling someone over. Was that for George Daniel?
I think it was. Must have said something in back play. Perhaps they're coming together. Yellow card to Marconi's left back as well, who are going to leave this game having won the day and the 3 points, but with the yellow cards totted up, Peter Sekenes looking rather bewildered by it all. Have to share his bemusement. Nice ball from Chalakian. Wigan. Chance for Cordier, that would have been a storyline. Speranza keeps the attack alive. Mlinaric unflinching in his defensive duties. Chance for Speranza, shoved off it by Myath, and not quite fairly. Had a good hard look at it, Stephen Lucas, but eventually blew the free kick in Rockdale's favour. Rain rejoining us for the final stages of this game. Chance for Rockdale to perhaps grab a consolation here. Chalakian's delivery. Wade came a long way, didn't get there. Big appeal for handball. Waved away by Stephen Lucas. Wigan continues the attack, trying to drag it back to the top of the box. Rockdale in disbelief, but it was one of those ones, Tom. I think the ball was kicked into his own arm, which referees, of course, are instructed never to give now.
We definitely don't want to pull out the Pythagoras theorem and all the mathematical equations, but when the arm is that close to the action, it's extremely hard to call those.
So they've had a couple of moments in this second half that could have changed the complexion of it. 2 chances in 2 minutes to Najjar and Harry McCarthy.
Is it as simple to say, Mulchi, that Najjar's made the difference, or do you think there's a rejuvenated hunger?
Probably part of that. Marconi taking their foot off the gas. McCarthy, I thought, looked a lot better on the left. I don't know if you agree with that, Tom.
Definitely. Had to make way for Courtier.
About to see Tyrone Burney for the first time this season for Marconi as well. He's having a final word with Pete Papathis, Saketis' long-time assistant. Oh, Jesic and Daniel colliding as Daniel looked to overlap his captain, and he looks up in frustration. Not too often players are unhappy with Marco Jesic, but I think he had a fair argument there, George Daniel. Chalakian bundled over and then helped up very quickly by Anton Mlinaric. That foul has allowed the substitution to take place. A fantastic performance from Luka Pecora today. Thomas? Yep.
He's been absolutely excellent. Hasn't put a foot wrong, Pecora. And Bernie will have a tough task to cement his place in the starting 11 next week.
See the strapping around his right knee as he's brought on the Blacktown City Junior. Oh, poor turnover from Rockdale. It's been the story of their day, and Sakenis is in. Is it the hat trick? Just lost his footing at the vital moment.
Fortunately, from a Rockdale standpoint, they've just had too many of those cheap turnovers. And quite often within costly positions.
It's two of those goals coming from exactly the situation you described, Tom. Might be a chance to build from the back here for Rockdale. Karemalevsky and now Giorgio Speranza. Constable. Speranza for Courtier, and Meyer on his backside the entire way, and the free kick goes the Uruguayan's way. Courtier with almost a grab around himself. A fair sight of a new Rockdale signing late in this game. Ryo Kunimoto getting his first minutes. Japanese centre half. Signing on from Tainan City in Chinese Taipei. Brought on for Karemalevsky in these closing stages. Have a chance to put his best foot forward for a starting spot in a week's time. The last 10 minutes or so.
Fortunate for Karemalevsky, he hasn't had the best game. He does have some potential. Definitely has got a lot of good attributes in his locker. Just wasn't able to unlock them today. Very tough against an opposition like Marconi.
Indeed. Looking to just play out these final few moments now as the clock ticks down. Armson turning into Van der Sarg. Just as they did here a year ago, Marconi set themselves up for a positive season with a commanding victory. This has been even more so. Cole Chimenti's late winner that day after an Alec Rusevsky equaliser. Both players now departed. The new cast of Stallions have done the job again here today. Jack Armson, their new signing on the score sheet. And some familiar faces in Sakenis, who got a double, and Jesic, who added the fourth. We're just going to get the 1 minute of added time for Rockdale to try and find a late consolation. Chalakian ducking away from Armson's challenge. Easily fielded by Wade at his near post. Or in fact, we're going to get a bit more than one. In fact, I think I've gone very, very early there, Tom. There's another substitution or two coming before we get to stoppage time. Getting carried away. Jesic over the top. Sakenis searching for his hat-trick. Ball drops for Jesic. And now Meyer, who can strike them, and he didn't catch that one too badly. Always rising, though.
First time effort as well. He can hit them. We have seen him hit them. unfortunately for him, just high on wide.
5 goals last campaign for the Marconi right winger. Qual stepping in at the opportune moments. Can he get a third in Stallions colours from from centre back rather? Picked off by Danzo. Still full of running though, 10 Qual. Spent most of last season in the centre of midfield, so perhaps not getting through quite the running he's used to at centre half.
It's just funny to see that from that press as well that we alluded to. Linares in the first half stepping up, following his man, and then 10 Qual now in the second half. Marconi have absolutely dominated Rockdale, trying to play out from the back.
A double change, just for a couple more fresh legs. Julian Monge made a name for himself last year, was used mostly off the bench. That's the case again here. And Stephen Lucas is, well, waving Monge back off.
It's out of play.
Whether he's the man to be removed is a different question. Marco Jesic tried to run over to the far side and then sneak off on the near side. He's been pushed off almost the other side by Stephen Lucas. And really receives, even away from home, Marco Jesic a healthy hand as he gets set to make his way up the tunnel. Busek has been kept on. Oh, it's all a bit messy. It's the messiest thing Marconi have done this afternoon.
Yeah.
Jack Armson is the second who has made his way off on the far side.
Busek is still a bit confused. He's going left and right.
Thought he was getting an early shower, and he's getting one of sorts because the rain has started to come down here at Rockdale. Oh, and Monge with the studs up. This is a big decision for Stephen Lucas, and just yellow. I had to say, on first glance, it looked as though it could have been worse.
When you hear it clatter off the leg like that, it's never a good sign. Thankfully, Rockdale looks to be okay, which is good, and Julian Monge just receives a yellow.
He's been on the end of harder kicks than that over his career, Brendan Chalakian, but it's a hefty bruise to take away from a game where he's not got too much reward. I think that speaks to Stephen Lucas's experience, that he was able to just put that little spot fire out with a quick draw of the yellow card.
So which Marconi player hasn't received the red card, Mulchy?
Or a yellow one. Just a yellow. So that's, yeah, they've totted them up today, Tom.
They have.
Make that number 6. Oh, and Monge, who has just been booked, goodness me, very high with the foot on Matthew Cordier. And to Rockdale's credit, no one's really gone to the referee to appeal to have him sent, but just a moment after that initial booking, Julian Monge didn't need to go in for that challenge. Goodness me.
We have had it all today, Mulchy. We've had it all.
It just would have been another little subplot that Marconi would rather avoid, no doubt. Can Rockdale add a second? Chalakian goes to the back post. He was aiming for the new signing, Rio Kunimoto. Not quite able to find his head. And another pair of late substitutions for Paul D. Jordi Follette, signing from Mount Druitt Town Rangers in the off-season, getting his opportunity. And it is Dean Joszewski being brought on late as well. Made his debut for Rockdale late last season in a heavily rotated side that took on Sydney FC. 6 goals in 30 games in the under-20s. Given some late minutes here. What will be the takeaway from this, Tom? Because Rockdale have had an indifferent start to the season, I think it's fair to say.
Definitely.
Were commanding against the Wanderers without being overly impressive last weekend, and have been playing behind the 8 ball for the entirety of the 90 minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't forget that both their goals against West Sydney Wanderers did come after the red card from Jai Rose. So I think Mudi Najjar definitely brought a different tool in the second half to unlock a stubborn defence like Marconi. But I think they need to connect those small passes. I know it's cliche, I know it's really basic, but that's what's been their undoing today. 2 clear goals, and arguably a third has come from their own doing.
Just a bit of togetherness that needs to be found. Bulgaria dispossessed in midfield by Chalakian. Has brought over Chalakian again. That's his 3rd foul in about 5 minutes since coming on.
He is riding a fine line, Julian Monch.
Not a player known for clattering into people either. Oh, Bernie with a... Well, definitely stuck his arm out there. Rockdale happy enough with the throw-ins now. Not going to get themselves in too much of a twist. Back home here next weekend against Blacktown City on Saturday night, 7:30 kickoff. A set of winnable fixtures away at the SD Raiders and then home here against Sydney Olympic over the next month.
And Blacktown have looked very good as well. Unfortunate draw yesterday, however, against Sydney Olympic in the first round, very convincing.
High quality game for a 0-0 last night against Manly United. Had about everything that game except a goal. Krzyzewski goes down. Rockdale are keen to get a second consolation here. Cordier down the left. Perhaps a little rusty with that delivery. Well overhit.
Just shaking off the cobwebs, obviously.
As for Marconi, it's a trip down to Macedonia Park to take on the Wollongong Wolves, who were 2-1 winners earlier today against UNSW, having trailed there. Second game in a row, the newly promoted side have given up a lead to go down. Promising signs for them, but without the reward in terms of competition points just yet.
Obviously, Wollongong picking up their first 3 points as well. But UNSW, they have looked very good, scoring in both games, which is a good sign for them.
As we mentioned, Marconi on the road for the next 2 months while Marconi Stadium's pitch is relayed and bedded back in after a very busy season. One of the best pitches in the competition consistently, so good that it's getting the care that is needed. Disappointing for the fans in the opening couple of months, although they have travelled in number here today and have been rewarded for that. Chance for Cordier, who was helped over by Bernie, and the yellow card is out of the pocket again. A 7th Stallion booked by Stephen Lucas, but crucially happening or occurring just outside the box rather than inside, so a free kick rather than a penalty.
7 yellow cards. Can't remember the last time I've seen that, Mulchy.
Hasn't felt like that sort of game either.
No.
Just been little moments. Of course, there were 2 booked in the fracas just before half-time, brought about by Chalakian's challenge. It's increased that number somewhat. 2 of the substitutes have now found their way into Stephen Lucas's little notepad.
Very dangerous position here, though, Mulchy. Harry van der Sarg, he can hit them.
One of the best proponents over the dead ball in the competition. And Moody Najjar is no shrinking violet either. 5 standing in the wall for Joel Wade, who now tells Bulgaria he doesn't need the draft excluder. Not quite set this wall as Van der Sarg now delivers. Comes off the foot of Mlinaric. Stephen Lucas is now, I think, indicating 5 minutes to be added on. Or another set of substitutions. Sunday Yona and Noah Anderson. Anderson, who made a big name for himself during the championship with his goal against the Wollongong Wolves down at Marconi Stadium. He's part of the team that won the under-20s grand final after signing from Southern Districts Raiders midway through last year. One of those to follow Nick Carl over. And now Mate Busek is going up the tunnel for an early rest, and Franco Myers going to come to the touchline.
He's been excellent, hasn't he? Noah Anderson, superb. And Sunday Yona, we all know what he can do. Both of them were keen to make their mark on this game.
Let's just snatch a late goal to put them in Peter Sekenis' thoughts for next week. Follette. Signing from Mount Druitt, getting to the byline. Wasn't a bad cross either, just needed someone in red and black to be taking that risk on the edge of the penalty area. Never arrived.
Wonderful little move there from Huete as well.
Kennis still searching for his hat-trick. Had 2 goals before half-time. Monaric now wearing the captain's armband after Jasic was substituted. And now we do have 4 minutes to be added on. At the end of the allotted 90.
So Kennis is going to be given the chance, if there is a chance, to get the hat-trick.
Speranza launches the ball in frustration. Marconi fans have big smiles and a few choice words for Giorgio Speranza as well. Monaric showing off his first touch as well.
5-star performance from him. Incredible.
That's what we've grown to expect.
Yep.
This will be an interesting watch as well for Rockdale. Just how long, with Kunimoto now at the club, does Van der Sar remain in the heart of defence rather than midfield? Or whether they decide to partner him with Kunimoto rather than Karemalevsky. Nice bit of interplay between Bulgaria and Yona, the 2 substitutes. Blair getting in on the act. Left for Anderson by Sekenes. It's Noah Anderson. Into the grateful gloves of Levi Kay. Another flowing move from Marconi. I think that's probably been the biggest takeaway from today. Not known as the freest scorers. The Stallions over the last couple of seasons, they've been very deadly in the opposition 18-yard box today, Tom.
They have. And look at this press again.
Might be a chance for Monge. Bulgaria. He's got a nose for goal. This time he took a touch too many. Oh, and Bernie into Mathieu Cordier, and eventually the whistle goes. Cordier, understandably, a little worried about challenges like that. Bernie, another, having already been booked, just walking a very fine line.
If I'm Peter Sekenes, I'm screaming. 2 minutes left. Just calm.
Sit
calm.
in. Don't need to contest those 50-50s any longer. It's a fine balance, isn't it?
4-1 up as well.
Monaric always as considered as he is cruel to attackers, shepherding Cordier away from the centre of the park. There might just be a few glances over at Stephen Lucas saying, we'll blow the whistle now. Speranza might have one last bite of the cherry here for Rockdale. Van der Sar. Krzyzewski. Turned over by Hunter Elliott. Monge couldn't steal on the error. Nice play from Elliott and Van der Sar and Speranza. Almost the best we've seen from Rockdale today. Shalakian turning himself into trouble. Ball swept away by Monge. Check of the watch from Stephen Lucas.
Just hasn't been able to click today from a Rockdale standpoint. On the rare occasion that they have managed to build out, they just haven't managed to find that important connecting pass.
Van der Sar with a lovely switch. Shalakian trying to get Cordier involved. So we'll look ahead to next week for Rockdale on the back of this disappointment. Win and a loss to start their campaign in 2026 with a largely new-look squad. But for Marconi, it's more of the same. Victory against Apia on the opening day. And over there, newer rivals Rockdale in round 2, commanding in victory. They'd run up a 3-0 lead before half-time. A pair of goals to Damien Sekenes, his first strikes of the season. matched by a first in sky blue for Jack Armson. Half a chance for Rockdale when Mudin Ajar opened his account for the campaign off the bench early in the second half, but Marko Jesic snuffed out hopes of a comeback with his first goal of the year as well. Tom Militic, it was a one-sided affair, all said and done after 90 minutes.
I think it was done in 45, Molshi. I think the job was done in the first 45, and from a Rockdale standpoint, they can only build up from here because they were struggling to build out from the back. They struggled to find that connecting pass, and it was credit to Marconi. They came out with a hunger that was hard to match for Rockdale, and for 45 minutes, they absolutely blew Rockdale out of the park. And from a Marconi standpoint, onwards and upwards, business as usual.
It takes them second to Sydney United in the very early season ladder. Rockdale back here next week with a chance to right the wrongs of round 2 against Blacktown City. But Marconi on their travels for the first time this year victorious for Peter Sekenis. It has finished at the Ilinden Sports Centre in our match of the round on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel. Rockdale Ilinden 1, the Marconi Stallions 4.